We heard from the president and other American officials that intelligence came together over the last couple of weeks that allowed them to get a sense of where Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of the Islamic State, was. And then on Thursday, they had some specific actionable intelligence that allowed them to develop really the specific plans of the operation that they launched on Saturday. The president gave the go-ahead Saturday morning for that operation before leaving Camp David to go play golf, and then he monitored it live from the Situation Room Saturday afternoon Eastern Time. The president did specifically greenlight that, reminiscent in a way of the operation that killed Osama bin Laden back in 2011, when President Obama also greenlit that operation directly and was involved in some of the planning that went into that. But also this is one where the president was personally invested. He's been talking about getting this Islamic State leader for years now.
We killed ISIS leader al-Baghdadi. He's dead. He's dead as a doornail. And he didn't die bravely either, I will tell you that.
This does come at what had been really one of the lowest points of President Trump's administration so far, in the midst of an impeachment probe, and as he faced bipartisan condemnation for his policies for pulling U.S. troops mostly out of Syria, clearing the way for that Turkish incursion against formerly allied Kurdish fighters in the fight against the Islamic State. So this is the sort of thing that certainly a big PR victory for the president, as well as an operational victory for him as well, success there. But it's the sort of thing that the president will almost certainly use on the campaign trail going forward. It certainly is a foreign policy credential that he'll be able to use on the stump as he seeks re-election. The president has already faced criticism from those on Capitol Hill for not fully reading members of Congress on significant foreign policy decisions, going back to his decision to pull U.S. troops out of Syria just a couple of weeks ago. That led to bipartisan outcry. So here's an indication of where the president had an opportunity to just provide even just a couple of hours heads up to sort of the Gang of Eight, the big sort of senior lawmakers on Capitol Hill. It would have engendered certainly a good bit of goodwill for him, but also would have been in line with some past practice. In this case, it's not clear he was legally required to give that notification, because that requirement only extends to covert action. This wasn't necessarily sort of ticking all those boxes that would have required notification of the Gang of Eight, but providing notification of Russia in advance does fit into an existing sort of narrative around the president that he is strengthening his ties between the United States and Russia at the expense of allies in the region and overseas more broadly. That at the same time, though, there was a credible need to loop in Russia and Turkey and other American allies and foes in the region, even because this operation had to be launched across their territory where they do have substantial military presences. This operation only took place because of the institutions that he has so often denigrated. The intelligence community, the foreign policy establishment, they worked, they did their jobs, they presented him with actionable intelligence, and he took that action, taking a major foreign terrorist off the battlefield. That said, and also with U.S. troops in the region that he wants to take back into the United States. So on both of those counts, we'll see if that affects the president's thinking or not. Certainly this is a victory for the president and the president's strategy to a certain extent, but also some of it happened despite his rhetoric and despite the actions that he has taken as well. So will the president alter course? It seems unlikely, but that is one of the things that we'll be following in the days and weeks ahead.